Hello everybody and welcome back to another My Porch Prints tutorials. This is Kyra and today we're going to be having a really kind of easy little craft project, just something fun to do as we kind of get ready for the fall season to settle in here, just kind of the beginning of it. So today we're going to be making some fall snippet tags, and to do that I've got these two kits here I'm going to be using. So this one is our Snippet Scraps Vintage Labels kit, and then on the other side we have the Autumn Afternoon Snippet kit. So I'm going to be using some little fussy cuts here to decorate, and the Autumn Afternoon kit comes with some of these little paper squares and then also some of these sort of longer papers that we're going to be using as the base for our snippets. So I'm going to go ahead and choose these three here as the ones I'll be using today. And these are some of the supplies that I'm going to be using in today's video. Now, you don't have to use all of these things, just a variety of little elements for decorating is all you'll need. You can also just use the kits as is, you don't have to grab all of this stuff. However, I will have links down in the description box to some of these items in case you're looking for some supplies to decorate with. Alright, and I accidentally forgot to hit record to start here, so I have to kind of re-show you what I did. It's real simple though. All I did was grab this little corner rounding punch, and I went ahead and rounded the corners of these two longer pieces here. And you can use scissors to do this if you don't have a punch, that's fine. And then with this third piece, I did cut it in half and then go over all of the corners and round them afterwards to give me some smaller cards to decorate. So it's kind of up to you if you want to have smaller or taller cards. I'm going to go ahead and do both just to give a little bit of variety. And then I was taking this paper punch here and adding a decorative border to the edge of this longer piece of paper here, just for a little bit of, again, layering, decorating, variety, that kind of thing. Alright, so now that we have our bases, we can go ahead and kind of start distressing them a little bit. So with this one here, I decided to tear some just chunks out of the paper. I'm not thinking too hard about this. I want to make sure that I leave enough of a base behind to decorate on top of, so obviously we don't want to tear like enormous chunks of paper out of it, but just some little sort of strips off the edge or the corner here, just to give it a little bit more of a rough shape. Okay, and now that that's done, I am going to grab my distress ink and go over it just to kind of bring those edges out a little bit more and give them some pop. Again, this is optional. If you don't have distress ink, that's fine, but if you do, this is something that you can do to just create a little bit more contrast and make your pieces look a little more finished. And you can also use distress ink to add distress to things like masking tape to just make it look a little bit more old and blotchy, give it a little bit of definition. So I'm going to add a couple pieces of masking tape to this smaller tag I have here, and I'm just starting to create layers. A lot of this will get covered up, but you know, when it's all said and done, all of these layers kind of add and come together. So we just want to keep going with that and add as many layers as you can think of. And if you don't want to use like masking tape, you can just use some of the decorative papers that come with the Autumn Afternoon Snippet kit. So I'm just taking some of those squares and tearing them up and just kind of creating messy little shapes and things like that. And to get even more interesting shapes, I am grabbing this circle punch here and just punching out a couple of circles. And then I'm not going to waste this piece. I'm actually going to use this as well. And I'm just kind of trying to get layers, make things look kind of messy and geometric. And if you don't have a punch, that's fine. You can make shapes just kind of on your own. So like right here, I'm kind of making this into like a little house shape. And I'm going for some like larger, like, you know, obvious geometric shapes to kind of help fill up some of these spaces without covering up everything. So like right here, I am making a large circle to use, and then cutting that out does give me some of these sort of interesting half moon shaped pieces that I can layer. So, you know, I'm just kind of grabbing things and just seeing where I like them. And then once I'm happy with some of my little geometric shapes I've made, we can go ahead and start gluing these pieces down. down. And if you want to, you can go over them with some distress ink to also make them stand out more from the background if you don't want them to blend in as much. So that's kind of just up to you. And this is one of those projects where things kind of start to look worse before they look better. So if you're looking at your pieces right now and thinking this doesn't look good, just hang in there. It's really the little fussy cuts that make it all come together. So let's go ahead and jump over to those fussy cuts. I'm going to start by sorting them out and looking for the largest pieces, because when layering, you want to start with the largest things in the back and then get smaller and smaller as you move towards the front, or layering things on top, however you want to think of that. So I'm gonna go ahead and grab out the largest cards that I have, and then I'm gonna kind of sift through the fall, like the autumn afternoon snippets here, and just find some fussy cuts that I like. And you can kind of, you know, organize things by color or theme, so you could have like all flowers or, you know, all blue pieces. It's kind of up to you. I'm gonna go ahead and just sort of mix and match here, and I'm trying to keep things in somewhat like almost like a zigzag pattern. You don't want everything on one side or the other. You want to try to keep things kind of balanced, because like if you put all of your fussies in the corner, then things start to look kind of like awkward. So personally, since you know this already has a theme to it, so I'm just gonna kind of use all of the pieces and kind of mix and match them wherever I think they look nice. All of these pieces should just really blend easily together and kind of just look cohesive because of the kit. So you don't have to do too much thinking with this. I am also putting mine kind of, how do I say this, like outside the boundaries of the tag, I guess. I'm not keeping everything inside the lines, just because I personally like sort of that messy layered look, but it's kind of up to you and how you want to do it. There's no wrong way to make these, and it's honestly pretty mindless. You just kind of lay things out, see how you like it, shuffle things around. It's not like, it doesn't have to look perfect. It's okay for things to be kind of messy. The snippet clips, or not snippet clips, sorry, the snippet tags are meant to be used to make like hidden paper clips, or to decorate the edge of a page, or to be a tuck space, a belly band. You can tuck them into pockets or use them to decorate pockets. There's a lot you can do with these, and they only take like, you know, this took me like 20 minutes to do from start to finish. And that was with recording everything. So it's a fast, easy project that you can just kind of have fun with and don't worry too much about it being perfect, and just, you know, have a good time. And once you have all of your fussy cuts laid out, you can then go in with other elements like bows, buttons, ribbons to add just a little bit more texture, some cheesecloth, things like that. You can also like fold your little butterflies in half to give their wings a little bit of dimension. So that's what I did. And this is how everything turned out after I glued down all of the individual pieces. And that's it. It's really, really simple. And you know, these are just nice to have around. So whenever I'm decorating a journal, I will go into like my old projects box and look for things like this that I can use to help sort of fill out my journal so that I'm not overwhelmed by making the projects all at once. And these are probably going to make an appearance again sometime in the future when I do a journal, maybe around fall time, like September-ish, we'll have to see. But otherwise, that is the end of today's tutorial. So thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!